Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight into what sounds like a really fascinating WNBA preseason game.
Yeah, this one was between the Indiana Fever and the Washington Mystics.
Right. And for this deep dive, your mission really is to get under the skin of this game. Understand the key moments, the narratives popping up.
Especially because Caitlin Clark, the big name, wasn't even playing.
Exactly. Which makes it even more interesting, doesn't it? We've got some material here, a recap that suggests this wasn't just going through the motions.
No, not at all. Sounds like there was real intensity, maybe even the spark of a new rivalry.
And perhaps a team kind of finding a new side to itself, all without its main star.
It's pretty intriguing how one preseason game can potentially tell you so much. So, okay, let's set the scene first.
Okay, so Caitlin Clark, she's out. Leg tightness. Makes sense, right? Preseason, be careful.
Totally. But the Mystics, they didn't seem to care who was out. They came out firing.
Yeah, grabbed a 15-point lead pretty quick first quarter.
And the way they did it was interesting. Sounds like they were very physical, assertive.
Yeah, the recap mentions really physical screens, maybe some elbows flying, that kind of stuff.
And how did the Fever look initially, without Clark?
Well, it sounds like they struggled. A bit disjointed, maybe. Missed shots, sloppy passes.
You could apparently see the frustration from Coach Stephanie White.
Yeah, it wasn't clicking. You'd maybe expect a bit more fight even without Clark.
Right. But that's what makes the turnaround so interesting because the fight did come.
It did. Just maybe not from where you'd expect it, and that's where things start to get, well, really compelling.
Yeah, enter Sophie Cunningham off the bench.
Right, not a starter in this game.
But she comes in and apparently just injects this immediate energy. Scores 12 points in like 11 minutes.
That's a serious spark plug effect.
Absolutely. And the recap suggests it wasn't just the points, it was her alongside Lexi Hall really shifting the whole momentum.
Getting the crowd involved too, it sounds like. Changing the whole feel of the game.
Yeah, the atmosphere changed. But then all that building intensity kind of boiled over.
Oh yeah, this is the moment that sounds pretty wild for preseason.
The flashpoint, the body slam.
Seriously, Mystics player Kiki Ariafin apparently grabs Sophie Cunningham and just slams her to the floor.
In preseason, you hear that and think, wow, okay. A bit much.
A bit WWE, maybe? It sounds like it was pretty shocking.
Apparently, the whole arena went quiet for a second. Refs blow the whistle, benches kind of frozen.
Just a real what just happened moment.
And what about Cunningham's reaction?
Gets right back up, immediately confronts Ariafin, basically says you don't do beep.
Wow, okay. That's a statement.
It really feels like that was a turning point, you know? Yeah,
Wow.
like a line drawn.
And it wasn't just an isolated thing, was it? The Mystics apparently kept going at her.
Yeah, Brittany Sykes apparently shoved her later on, still targeting her.
But the Fever's reaction to that initial slam, and maybe the later stuff too, that seems key.
Totally. Dana Bonner steps right in for Cunningham. The whole team rallies around her.
That classic mess with one, you mess with all of us vibe.
Exactly. You could almost feel that shift, like they weren't going to be pushed around anymore.
And did that translate into how they played overall?
It seems like it. The recap mentions Lexi Hall stepping up defensively, like locking things down.
Mackay.
Boston started controlling the paint more. Mitchell found her rhythm on offense.
So they met that physicality. They didn't back down.
No, it sounds like they raised their own level, became more assertive, tougher.
And Cunningham herself, what were her final stats? Because the impact sounds huge.
Yeah, she finished with 21 points, 8 rebounds, shot 55%, really efficient.
Strong numbers.
But like the recap says, the stats don't quite tell the whole story, do they?
No, it's the energy, the message behind those points after what happened. That's the real impact.
And the crowd felt it too, right? Over 12,000 people there.
Yeah, you could apparently feel the energy surge as the Fever fought back. That initial Mystics confidence started to look more like frustration.
So if we zoom out a bit, what are the broader implications here? Coach White's comment about Cunningham is interesting.
Call her a dog.
Yeah, in basketball terms, that's big praise, right? It means tough, tenacious.
Absolutely. It means someone who doesn't back down, who fights for everything.
And maybe that's something the Fever needed. There was talk last season they got pushed around a bit sometimes.
Could be. Maybe this game and Cunningham's response showed they've got that enforcer-type presence now.
Yeah.
A different kind of identity emerging.
A grittier identity.
Exactly. Which, when you think about adding Caitlin Clark back into that mix...
Yeah, that's a really interesting thought. The potential there.
But even just the immediate fallout from this game tells a story.
The handshake thing. Laughs.
Yeah, the Mystics apparently walking off without shaking hands in preseason.
Wow. Okay, that definitely signals some bad blood, doesn't it? Stemming from that Ariafin foul.
It really suggests this one game, maybe that one moment could have actually lit the fuse on a proper rivalry.
Makes you look at those upcoming regular season games differently, huh? May 29th, June 7th.
For sure. Suddenly those feel like they have a bit more spice to them.
So this wasn't just a preseason win for the Fever, was it? It feels deeper.
It feels like maybe they found something, a resilience, a toughness, like the recap says, maybe stepping into who they really are.
Okay, so let's sum it up. Indiana Fever, no Caitlin Clark, but they show incredible fight, real toughness.
Sparked, it seems, by Sophie Cunningham's reaction to that really physical foul. It galvanized the whole team.
Yeah, the whole dynamic shifted after that.
Which leaves you with a really interesting thought, doesn't it? How often can one preseason game, maybe even one single moment of, intense physicality, how often can that reveal so much about a team's character and maybe even set the stage for future battles, a whole rivalry?
It's pretty fascinating to think about that a single moment could reshape things like that.
Definitely something to chew on.
Yeah. So the big picture seems to be the Fever finding a new level of... And, we'll definitely be watching to see how that character